What's going on, everybody? Eric Wilson, Sports Arena, alongside Fantasy and Flavors, my man, Mr. Alex Fleming. And as you can see with the background behind me, today we are going to drop our thoughts and opinion on the record of the AFC North 4 teams, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and, of course, Cleveland Brown. Alex, what's going on, brother?
Work was crazy today. I'm glad we're doing this in the morning-evening because, man, I'm beat up a little bit, but I'm ready to roll.
Okay, I got you. So, you know, it's very apropos that we're doing this one because I got a lot to say about each one of these teams, I think more than I've spoke about any of the other divisions that you and I have or even will cover. So let's jump right into it, brother. I want to start with, well, since you got the jersey on, let's start with the
Let's save the best for last.
Okay.
Let's save the best for last.
Then you tell me where you want to start then. Pick a team.
Cincinnati.
Joe Burrows, T. Higgins. Basically, Marvin Lewis is gone, so it's a new-look team. And again, no Andy Dalton. He got sent over to Dallas. So now it's just a rebuilding team. The thing about Cincinnati, here's what I'm going to say to you. They got to learn how to win together before they can start consistently winning. A team that has always been great in the regular season, but is a one-trick pony in the postseason. You already know. It don't matter how they get there. It don't matter what it takes to get there. Cincinnati is going to be great during the regular season, predominantly because they had A.J. Green and they had Andy Dalton. You throw a little mix in there. You throw in a Tyler Boyd. You throw in, let me see who else, Joe Mixon, Giovanni Bernard. You've got John Ross the third up in there. But see, these guys, they can't seem to stay healthy to continually make this team a viable product on the field. So now you kind of reshaping and rebuilding. I'm looking at this schedule right now, and all joking and kidding aside, I see teams that I just don't expect Cincinnati to have wins against. Potentially, they may have wins against. Particularly against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's later on in the season. I do see them week 1, because sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, getting a win over Tyrod Taylor and the Chargers, because Joe Burrow's first game is at home, which means the crowd, if there's going to be one, is going to rally there to support this young man. One more team that I think they may shock and surprise, and it's only because they're playing in Cincinnati. I think Tennessee might get a loss to Joe Burrow. For that reason, I say they go 4-12, nothing more than that. But I've already given you 3 teams that I think Cincinnati is going to come away with victories on.
Joe Burrow, one-year wonder at LSU, had a historic collegiate 1 year. I can't take that away from him. Congratulations on being a one-year standout in NCAA history. With that being said, you have a disgruntled A.J. Green. You have Tyler Boyd, who could be a number 1, but A.J. Green is still on the roster. John Ross is a combine workout monster. He hasn't lived up to his potential at all. Jonah Williams is back. Some people seem to forget that he was drafted from Alabama 2 years ago. He's finally going to play. Offensive line might be a little bit better. They picked up Trey Waynes and I believe Isaiah Rhodes from Minnesota. So they took Minnesota's cast-offs. Linebacker position. Who? Can you give me a linebacker from the Cincinnati Bengals? I didn't think so.
Logan Wilson.
Was that?
Logan Wilson.
Exactly. Front 4 defensively? Nah. Carlos Dunlap. Do they still have Geno Atkins? I don't know. Doesn't matter. And I don't see them beating the Chargers at all. I think Burrow is feeling himself a little too much and gets picked off at least twice in that game. If not by Derwin James, by Chris Harris. This isn't a good team. They're rebuilding. Mr. Stacy thinks that Joe Burrow is going to come in and switch some things up. I don't think so. The Cincinnati Bengals are 2 to 3 years before they're even a threat in this division. They are coming. But, bro, they are in the rear view, far rear view. They can't stack up against the other teams in this division. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Baltimore are all better than them. I want to say 5-11, just to be nice, but they're at the bottom of the barrel in this division.
Okay. Where you want to run next?
Pittsburgh.
Ooh. Okay. Ben Roethlisberger, I got one question for you. Are you going to play a full season? Are you going to get injured? Or are you going to retire? Please let me know right now so I don't have to get my hopes up that you might actually do something. Because when you have one of the greatest head coaches, in my opinion, in Mike Tomlin, holding down that organization from top to bottom, bruh, if you don't have the heart to play for this man, then guess what? Get out. And get out now. Now, granted, your replacements are no better. Duck and Mason, I don't even care. I'm not even going to go down that route. But here's what I will say about this team. Mike Tomlin is going to do whatever it takes to win. And I support what that man does for that organization. Juju Smith-Schuster. You officially Juju, because I can't say your last name to save my life. I did it one time. That's the one time I'm going to do it. But let me say this to you. You need to come out from under the shadows and assert yourself as a number one wide receiver in this league because the talent is there. And even if you don't believe in yourself, I know a lot of people that do believe in you. So you know what? Show up and show out. Get the proverbial monkey off your back and prove to the world that you belong not only on this squad, but in this team, in this organization. James Conner. Brother, I got a lot of love for you. Your story and your journey of how you got to the NFL is remarkable. But I think somewhere along the way, you have been lost in sight, my brother. And for you, I truly, truly hope that you are able to go back to to Connor, who just came out like a house of fire and said, I don't care if your name is Le'Veon Bell. I'm going to prove that I'm better than you in every way, shape, form, and fashion. I want to believe in Pittsburgh this year. But the fact that last year they needed help just to get themselves potentially into the playoffs and had to rely on a divisional opponent to get there, when I look at this schedule, and this schedule favors them. This schedule, the Pittsburgh Steelers schedule, favors them to come away with a double-digit winning record. But because I don't know if they got the stuff here or up here, I can't do it. And it pains me to say this. But I'm saying they middle of the road at 8-8.
We agree on something. Look, Pittsburgh messed up by not getting Jalen Hurts to be a viable backup behind Ben Roethlisberger, who's clearly at the end of his career. Jay Klazler killed him softly by saying he doesn't work out in the offseason. He still looks like old man Jack hunting down bears. Now, I'm glad he's not, raping chicks on the side or nothing like that, but you couldn't stay healthy.
Move on.
With that being said, Juju got exposed without Antonio Brown. With Antonio Brown there 2 years ago, Juju broke out. No Antonio Brown? Where'd Juju go? Where'd Juju go? You're supposed to be at number one. And then when Ben Roethlisberger goes down, you hardly even on the field, bro. You're pretty bad. You try to lie to people and say that you had fantasy value. No, you don't. No, you don't. Now, can you reclaim that with the healthy Ben Roethlisberger? Maybe, but I don't have any more faith in you because I believe there's not one but two better receivers on that team better than you. One of them is Deontay Johnson. He actually showed out under Duck Hodges and the racist formerly known as Mason Rudolph. I don't believe James Washington's going to break out and be the star that he's supposed to be because there's this guy named Chase Claypool. Remember the name. Abbotsford, British Columbia. Got to meet this guy at the combine. He's nasty. He's very nasty. He's raw. Once you figure it out, your junior year, you have 637 yards receiving. Your senior year, you have 1,037 yards receiving on only 14 more receptions. So that makes me think he knows how to use his body to get to where he needs to go and bully his defenders. Best thing about Pittsburgh, ironically, is the defense. They're solid. TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, Hayden, They're good on defense. But they got to play the AFC North. And that schedule you're looking at, I don't quite know or where you're coming from with this. It favors Pittsburgh because it doesn't. It really, really doesn't. That New York Giant game isn't a gimme game. Baltimore should beat them twice. I see them splitting with Cleveland. And the only team in the division you're actually better than is the Cincinnati Bengals. I got them going 8-8 because Tomlin doesn't know how to have a losing record. But you got to think some of the pressure that was on Tomlin 2 years ago, where people wanted his head for no particular reason other than the fact that he has the second best winning percentage behind Bill Belichick. You know, I think you and I both know what it's about, but let's not get into that.
No, let's move on. Come on, let's move on. Let's go to Cleveland.
I'm thinking Pittsburgh 8-8.
All right. Let's go to Cleveland. And for me, it's quite simple. I got one question for the Cleveland Browns. More importantly, I got one question for their quarterback. Baker Mayfield, please shut up and play football. Now, I know we're used to people saying that about, well, I'll just say it, about African-American individuals, black people, shut up and dribble. But Baker Mayfield, I am tired of hearing you run your mouth and think you actually know more than other people. When you have all the weapons and all the talent in the world, and you were drafted number 1, to me, right now, I don't want to hear you. I want to see the production on the field. That's what I want. And if you don't do it for anybody else, do it for that city, because they are owed a championship. And right now, you, Baker Mayfield, are the reason that they are not in the position that they need to be, which is vying for the AFC North title. Explain to me how last season, week 4, you beat up the Baltimore Ravens 40-25. After that, Baltimore was like, oh no, this will never happen again. And what did you do? You went down in the dumps. Why? Because you got a little air about yourself because you feel like, oh, we beat Baltimore. Baltimore's supposed to be this big, bad team. Look what we did. That was one game. One game. You got OBJ, Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb. You brought over Austin Hooper from Atlanta. How you going to put all these weapons in front of Baker Mayfield and he can't produce? I want to see it on the field. I'm looking at this schedule right now, and I'm telling you right now, if the Cleveland Browns, with this schedule, do not go at the very least 9-7, Baker needs to go. Because everything else around him is ready to win. Clearly, Baker ain't ready to win yet. For that reason, because I have more trust in the system and I have more trust in that team than I do him, I'm giving them a 9-7 record. But I'm telling you this, anything less than that, Baker Mayfield needs to get gone.
Baker Mayfield had more commercials last year than he had W's. Apparently, he was distracted. He was feeling himself a little bit too much because he had his hillbilly head coach and he had nobody to push him. They still don't have a viable backup. The problem is, you know, when you got more bullets than somebody else, somebody's going to run out, and they got bullets. OBJ has already talked about having a bounce-back year. Jarvis Landry is the real receiver you want in Cleveland, and that's the honest-to-God truth. They re-signed Mr. Rashad Higgins, who is a weapon, an accident waiting to happen if he ever gets single coverage. Now, I'm not big on Austin Hooper. He was an Atlanta Falcon, come to Cleveland Brown. I'm not quite sure. But here's the thing. When you fix the offensive line, it makes so many other things easier. Nick Chubb was second in the AFC in rushing behind Derrick Henry. Nick Chubb is a winner on that team. He's going to fight. He's still got some bulldog in him. Add Kareem Hunt, who I believe is going to play a bigger role this year. They have a very dynamic offense. The head case known as Baker Mayfield, if he could get past all his privilege, should be able to break through and make the playoffs as a 6th or a 7th seed. I actually like the potential now that they have Jedrick Wills on one side and Jack Conklin on the other. Stefanski was the offensive coordinator of Minnesota. I believe he's going to add a couple of new wrinkles to the Cleveland Browns. And these cats even have a Monday night game against the Baltimore Ravens. I have Cleveland penciled in as a playoff team, barely nudging over the Pittsburgh Steelers, 9-7.
Okay. So let's talk about what, since you want to save the best for last, brother. The floor is yours. Baltimore Ravens.
Let's get something out of the way right here, right now. All you hypocrites and people who like to be funny on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram who want to call a quarterback who threw for 3,000 plus yards and 36, yeah, that's right, 36 touchdowns, a running back, get your head out your ass. What's the real reason why you don't like this quarterback? Do you like the fact that he's not that flashy until he gets on the field, or that he's humble, or that he's approachable? I got to meet, speak, and interview Mr. Lamar Jackson, MVP, at the Pro Bowl. And he was a great guy, humble as hell. You know what mattered to him that day? The W. And they're only going to get better. And he told me straight up, he doesn't give a damn what people think about him, because you know what? It just fuels his fire. And I'm sick and tired of having to defend Lamar Jackson in some of these Facebook groups because everybody want to say that he's a running back, dink and dunk once you're inside the red zone. Last time I checked, Mark Andrews was a valuable tight end, but number 4 out of the top tight ends. Kittle, Kelsey, Ertz, Andrews. Hollywood is only going to get better because now he's going to have some arsenal and some help to help him out. Duvernay from Texas is an excellent pickup because now you could throw down the field consistently and you got a big body bruising wide receiver. He ain't afraid to take some of that smoke across the middle. Do I need to mention the running game? Do I have to mention the running game? Mark Ingram's getting a little bit long in the tooth, but he was still a 1,000-yard rusher, and he had touchdowns galore. J.K. Dobbins is a home run hitter coming out of Ohio State. He's going to pick up the reins once Mark Ingram is actually gone. And let's not forget about Gus the Bus Edwards. That man was doing this thing 2 years ago before Baltimore forgot to give him the football. Lamar Jackson is the MVP. Show some damn respect. And with the record that they have, the schedule that they have, maybe not 14-2, I'm going to give them 13-3. They'll be representing the AFC this year in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I said it. Mark my words, bank on it. Come fight me, any of you hooligans, with an actual argument against Lamar Jackson. Because I'll be here ready and waiting because stats don't lie. Hate all you want to.
We're going to mic drop it right there. I have nothing more to say except I 1,000% agree, and they are my pick, 13-3. Done. Alex Fleming, Eric Wilson, we don't got to say nothing more. We're going to talk to y'all in a minute. See ya.